Start.
Greetings to everyone. Today, me, Yash Katale, and my friends, my whole group, Chika, Mohit, Mansi, Dhaval, Chirag, and Harsimranjit, are here to present the risk analysis of the Manchester United Stadium, which is going to be one of the biggest football stadiums in the whole world. So, getting into the presentation, uh, we all know that what Manchester United club is. Manchester United is a football club which plays football in the Premier League, and it's one of the biggest clubs and has a biggest fan base as well in the whole of the world. So it's building a new stadium to just bring more fans and to get their recognition in the world stage. So we will see about the risk assessment and the risk analysis which will be needed to do to complete this whole project. So getting into the overview, we can see the risk assessment, we can see stakeholder analysis, strategic recommendations, contingency plans to just mitigate the risks, the expected outcomes, and the conclusion. Now I request Mansi to just change the slide to the introduction. Yeah, the main objective of this presentation is to evaluate the threats and present the suggestions to the corporate board of managers who are handling this project so that it would be easy for them to mitigate the risk. The key features would of this stadium would be of to build the stadium would be to expand the seat numbers, to update the amenities, to improve the fan engagement, and also to boost the revenue and get the club to an international level. So from now on, I request Chika to take this presentation from here onwards. Thank you.
I'll be talking about identified risks using the qualitative and the quantitative analysis. So for this project, we have identified 4 categories of risks. These include the economic risk, which are cost associated risks with the building prices for the project. We also have operational risks, which are threats that could come up during the course of the project in terms of the execution and scheduling. We have environmental risks. These are majorly not in the control of the project manager, and this could include sustainability regulations, um, barriers from government regulations, and we also have reputational risks. The reputation of this club will be at a great risk if this project fails because the fans will be displeased. The sponsors and stakeholders have their worries because they want their money to bring returns for them. So if this project does not go as planned, the reputation of Man United will be at risk. Then we move over to the quantitative risk. Nancy. We have identified and categorized the risks using the quantitative analysis method. Down the line, we're going to be looking at the risk matrix where we have categorized the risk into different levels. We have the high risk, the medium risk, and the high risk category. For the financial risks, the projection shows that it's going to have a very high impact on the club because of the costs associated with the project. Meanwhile, Man United is already in a debt of over 2 billion. So this is a very high risk category. Also, the estimated cost will increase due to inflation, materials, and shortages. So this would affect the club if the project fails. So I would hand over to my colleague to continue with the presentation, and down the line, a comprehensive analysis of the risk matrix will be treated. Thank you.
So I'm going to speak about the financial risk assessment. So first point is a financial prediction. So the club is trying to guess how much the stadium will cost, but sometimes the cost can go up. So they need to be ready for that. Second point is assessment of financial place. So they will check where the money is coming from, like ticket sales, ads, or loan. If the money isn't enough, they could have a problem. Third is a prevention tactics. To stay safe, they can keep the extra money aside just in case. They can also spend slowly and carefully instead of at all once. So Mansi, can you change this slide? So next slide is the operational risk assessment. So in that, the first is the possible construction hold. Construction might get delayed because of bad weather, not enough worker, or other problem. This could mess up Manchester United game schedule. Second point is difficulty regarding arena infrastructure. While the building the new stadium, part of the stadium might not work well. It could be hard for the fan to enter, and the team might face the other issue. And the alternatives is is if the stadium isn't ready, the club can find other place to play games or change the schedule. These are the backup plan to avoid big problems. So I'm going to hand over to Mansi now.
Hi, so I'm going to explain the environmental risk assessment. So the first one is the agreement with the regional and global environmental regulation. So if the Manchester uh, ground is going to make an agreement with the global and the environmental regulation, that they are going to keep an eye on all the environmental assessment, which could be like the legal or local. And the other one is a green architecture project, so they are going to maintain a sustainability, and they are also going to maintain that there would be a trash management plan, and if they are not able to do that, then there would be unstable development in that area. And the other one is the second and the other one is the potential sanctions for the failure to comply. So if the Manchester is going to unable to make any compliance with the sanction they have been applied, which could be like the legal or the financial, so then there would also be a risk available there. And the another thing is there would be a reputational risk assessment. So in this there would be like an expected uproar over the price of tickets and the allocation of seats. So this may also can happen that there is an anticipation of the public dissatisfaction regarding the ticket prices. If the ticket prices would be escalated, then the public would be dissatisfied with them, and there would be a backlash from the people who are going to join them. The other point is the sponsors are concerned about the complication with the project. So there are many sponsors who are going to invest their money in that project, and if they are unable to make any kind of compliance with the sponsors thoughts or with the sponsors ideas, so then there would also be like kind of delays or coordination with the sponsors, so it could also be a risk for them. And the other point is the participation from the stakeholders and the openness as a method of mitigation. So they can also include the stakeholders, and there would be an open participation from the stakeholders, and there would be some community members also there, and there would be some representatives. So it would also ensure that there would be an open and a mutual decision making between them, and then this may also reduce a chance of backlash, and it would also increase a kind of shared ownership between them. So I would like to hand over the next part to the Harsimran.
Hello. Now I will discuss about the legal and regulatory risk of stadium. So first one is a permit, which is a very important for starting our building a stadium. And so for building a stadium, there is a permit is a very necessary from both a regional and a national authority, because without that we cannot start our work. And second one is a regulation regarding the zoning and a permit for a development, like in which area we have to develop a stadium with the approval of the government authorities. And third one is the possibility of a litigation or a conflict with the law. So for example, there is a sometime conflict, like we give works to employee, they do a work for till 7 p.m. So that is a risk also. So next one is a risk matrix. So in the risk category, first financial risk is a error in a financial prediction. So when we making a financial statement regarding regarding building the stadium, so there is a sometime error. Like, so for that, there is a mitigation strategy conduct so a financial analyze and scenario for a planning. And secondary financial risk is a cash flow, advertisement, and mortgage issues. Like likelihood it's high, impact also high, and risk level critical. Like, so for strategy, diversify the revenue source and maintain the emergency reserves. And third one is a operational risk, construction delay also affect our project timelines. Like, so likelihood it's a high and impact is a high and risk level is a critical. So develop a continue plans and consider the alternative venue for that. And fourth one is a operational risk, infrastructure challenge during the transition. So for that, there is a strategy of implement phase transition and back up the structure plan. So fifth one is a environmental risk. So non-compliance with the environment regulation, likelihood it's a low, but impact high on our project, but risk level is a medium. For that, there is a strategy to ensure the strict adherence to regional and a global standard. And sixth one is also environmental risk. So risk description is a challenge in implementing a sustainable practice. Likelihood it's a medium, but impact medium, and also risk level is a medium. Invest in a green initiatives and sustainable waste management. For that, it's a their strategy for that. And next one is a reputational risk, like public dissatisfaction with the stadium, like ticket prices and a seat allocation. This risk is a likelihood medium, but impact highly, and risk level is also high. For that, there is a maintain transparency and engage with the stakeholders for proactively. And next one is a reputational risk. Sponsor concern about the project compliance. Likelihood it's a risk medium, but it affect also medium, and risk level is also medium. For that, there is a strategy to provide regular project updates and a clear communication between the stakeholders and the sponsors. So next one is a legal and regulatory risk. So that there is a risk description is a delay in obtaining necessary permit from the authorities. Likelihood its risk is a medium, but impact highly, and also risk level is a high, because if they do not approve a permit on time, we cannot start our work. So for that, we will have to engage early with the authority, so we can get our approval early as soon as possible. So last one is a legal and regulation. It is possibility of a litigation or a legal conflict. So likelihood the risk is a low, but it also impact highly, and risk level is also a medium. For that, there is a strategy also ensure that legal compliance and highly continuous plans for a distribute. So next one is a Mohit will continue our presentation.
Hey, stakeholders analysis. So the first one is key stakeholders. The primary stakeholders. It includes the supporters, the shareholders, the advertisers, the city officials, and the management of the team. And the interest, it depends upon the passion and the worries of the stakeholders, the strategies, approaches for ensuring stakeholders alignment and cooperation, the strategic recommendations, which is the next slide. The strategy number one is to schedule staggered development to reduce the interruptions. And the second one is to acquire the emergency funds to manage the unexpected bills. The third one is to improve the communications with the customers and neighborhood organizations. The fourth one is employ environmentally friendly building techniques so the environment stays good. The strategy number five is assure compliance with the regulations and laws. Thank you very much.
Hello, myself Dhaval, and I will discuss the contingency planning. So first one is substitution, in which find other ways to get money if things get too expensive. For the development, create backup plans to avoid problems during important days. And in crisis resolution, have solutions ready for unexpected problems during the development. Next slide, please. For the expected outcomes, the company will have stable finances by making more money from stadium events. Fans will feel more connected to the community. The company will be seen as more responsible towards the environment and creativity, and future business risks will be lower. Next slide, please. Here we'll discuss the conclusion of the oral presentation. It is important to check for financial, cultural, and operational risks. Following rules and regulations will help us to achieve our goals. Communicating openly with our stakeholders and the team will build our trust and support. Recommendations include using phased development, keeping emergency funds, engaging supporters, and ensuring rules are followed. Next slide, please. So here are the references from which we took inspiration to make this presentation content. Thank you very much. Please reach us uh, via our Blackboard mails if you have any questions regarding the presentation. Thank you very much.